I'm going to talk about voiceovers today. If that's not your jam, this one's not going to be good for you. But for those of you who are interested, I thought I would cover a few things. I used to work as a stage actress. Nowadays I work mostly as a director, which hopefully you already know. But when I do work as an actor, it's almost entirely as a voiceover actor. I made that switch about, probably just under 10 years ago, and for me it was perfect. So a lot of people ask me and do come to me for coaching or for demo preparation, especially because I do it and I'm a director, so that works out really, really well for us to do together. But I do get asked by people how to do this. They want to get started. People tell them they have a great voice and they have no idea what to do. So let me just go through a few things you need to think about if you're even considering trying to dip your toe into the world of voiceover. Number one, training. You have to get training. Even if you're a great actor, you have to get probably then just a little bit of training in how to be a really good voiceover actor. But if you're just starting out or you've been doing community theater or any kind of acting like that, it's a different skill. And in fact, I think that working as a voiceover actor, working on mic is very similar or more similar to doing an audition with a monologue than it is to being an actor, because like a monologue, you come into the room by yourself, but we really need to believe that you're speaking to someone directly who isn't physically there with you, someone you bring in the room with you. So you need to get some training, and there are no shortage of books out there to help you to get started in voiceover. There's some really good online training that you can get, and maybe if you live in a larger market, you can find somebody who can work with you, either a company that offers voiceover classes and workshops, or someone who can work with you privately. But you absolutely need to get some kind of training, and there is a little bit of an expense to that, so that's the first thing. And I will say this about voiceover. The 4 things I'm going to talk about, they're all going to cost you money. What I like people to understand about voiceover is if they're thinking about getting into it, I don't really think you can get started trying to be a voiceover person without putting some money into it. And conservatively, that number's probably around $1,500. You can get it done for that much. Might be a little tricky, but you might have to think in terms of even spending a little bit more than that. So you should know that before you get started. Number 2, you're going to need a home studio. And it doesn't have to be a studio. Back in the day, you really needed an entire home studio or a vocal booth, and it cost a fortune. You don't need that anymore. By a home studio, I mean that you have a way to record. Don't use your internal mic on your MacBook. You need to have an actual microphone. It can be a USB microphone, especially if you're starting. The nice thing is, with technology being as ubiquitous as it is, you can get a good microphone, a good USB microphone nowadays, for less than $150. So it's not a huge investment there, but you do need a microphone. You need some kind of way to record. So if it's USB, you can do it right through your laptop. If you do get a more sophisticated microphone, it will require that you invest in some other hardware as well. But if you do a USB, you need something to record it through, which is just simply your laptop, and some kind of software. And Audacity is a free software program that's really good now. When I first started working as a voiceover actor, it was a little unstable. There were definitely a few times I recorded a great, perfect take and then found out that Audacity crashed and I hadn't recorded it at all. But nowadays it's very stable and it's a good program, and it doesn't cost a thing, so you can download it and there you are, set right out of the gate, just like that. The only thing I will say though is understand that sound bounces, so hard parallel surfaces like walls, they're not your friend. The restaurant you go to that you say it's very noisy, it's probably not just because there's a lot of people in it. It's probably because they have a lot of hard, straight surfaces. That's why sometimes you'll notice that restaurants have fabric on the walls or even drape things on the ceiling to try and absorb some of that sound instead of it bouncing back and forth from their straight, hard granite walls. That's a fancy restaurant that you're going to. Anyway, so you need some soft things to absorb the sound. That's why a lot of people start, if they have a good closet, they put their microphone in their closet in front of their clothes, which are soft and rolled. They're not straight. They're absorbing sound. And you can, even if you have just a straight closet, open the doors and put your microphone in front of that. If you have a walk-in, that's even nicer. And that, right to get started, is a good home studio. So something like that, but you will need that, and that's your second investment and expense. Number 3, you're going to need to make a demo. It's just the way the world is nowadays. You cannot get jobs without submitting your demo. You can't get an agent or someone to represent you, or even just local jobs without having a demo to send to people. The trick with the demo is that it's that catch-22. When I was growing up in New York, you were able to get your working papers when you were 14, but you couldn't get working papers unless you had a job, but you couldn't get a job unless you had your working papers. So it's kind of that same catch-22. Your demo ostensibly is samples of jobs that you've done. But I just finished telling you can't get the jobs without the demo. So that's a little bit tricky. There's ways to work around it. One, you can get free jobs. If you know anyone who owns a business, maybe they'd be thrilled to have you record something for them for free. There's local television stations that would be happy to have you record things for free. Or maybe you can record someone's voice prompts, what's called IVR telephony. That's always how I say it. I might be pronouncing that wrong, to be perfectly honest with you. So if I was going to say that word as a voiceover, I'd look it up first to make sure I was saying it right. But maybe you can record someone's IVR, their voice prompts. You've reached the offices of, I don't know, Bob's Plumbing. To reach Bob, press 1. So maybe you can do things like that. And then, of course, when you're ready to do your demo and you have someone do it with you, you cannot do it alone. You must have somebody do it with you, a producer, director who can help get you through. There's ways to find copy that you can use that will sound like you've actually recorded this job, even if it's something that's being put together just for your demo. That probably is going to be the biggest expense of getting started as a voiceover artist, is recording the demo. But make sure that you do a good one. I know it's tempting to sign on to those classes that say, 10 weeks will train you and then you'll end up with a demo at the end. But don't fast track it like that. You need to really be ready to take jobs. You need to have enough experience. You need to be comfortable enough in front of the microphone. And then you want a demo that's been put together well, just specifically for you, because it's your calling card. Literally, it's your calling card, and you want it to be a good one. And that brings us to the last thing, number 4. They're called P2P sites, pay-to-play sites, and they are, I don't want to say a necessary evil, because I don't really think they're evil, in fact, but they're sort of a necessary component of getting started as a voiceover artist nowadays. Again, particularly if you're out of a major market and if you're non-union. What you do with the pay-to-play sites is you pay usually a few $100s for the year and you get auditions sent to you. What's really good is that it's hard to get auditions, again, particularly if you're not in a major market, you're not represented by anybody, and you're just getting started. How do you get those jobs? Well, you get jobs by auditioning for them. And to get the auditions, the nice thing about a P2P site is they come right to you all the time. There's a constant source. You tell them roughly what you're looking to audition for, and they will keep sending them into your inbox. And it's great because you get a lot of experience auditioning. You can do them over and over and over again, and sometimes that's really the great benefit of them. It's not even necessarily working. It's being able to have the opportunity to practice auditioning so that when you do have bigger and better jobs as you move along in your career coming your way, you know how to audition and you feel comfortable in front of the mic doing an audition. And then you'll use your Audacity software to put that audition together in a really good way and to send it to them. There's some rules about how to do that as well, like don't ever record all of the copy, because there are some people out there who are looking to take your audition and use it as a job without paying you for it. There's no reason for you to ever record all of the copy. They can tell what you can do before you get to the end of that 30-second spot or that end of that second paragraph if it's a different kind of audition. But it gives you great experience, and that, again, is going to be the biggest expense that you're going to put in as you get started as a voiceover person. So, 4 things if you want to get started in voiceover. Number 1, get training. Number 2, make sure that you get a home studio, meaning a microphone, some software, and a way to record. Number 3, you're going to need a demo. And number 4, you're probably going to want to join a P2P site, a pay-to-play site, so that you get those auditions rolling in. Once they do, I hope it goes great for you. And if I can be of any help, you know how to reach me, Cie@cloudsandwaffle.com. And speaking of Clouds and a Waffle, from now on, all the videos are going to be posted on the Clouds and a Waffle YouTube page. So make sure to subscribe there. It costs you nothing, and you will have unlimited access to great videos about acting and lots more. So sign up, follow us on social media, and maybe we'll have a chance to work together in the future.